Alright, tubers, Matt M. Roy back once again. I hope I gave you guys enough time to see if you could come to this live stream. I know it was fairly short notice, but I just got back home. And if you guys have seen today's vlog, you'll probably know why I just got back home. Very, very interesting day today. We did wind up picking up another Hearst Olds. This one being a 1983 model, which some of you may know, I'm sure you car buffs do, that it's pretty much the opposite paint scheme. It's black on top and gray or silver on the bottom instead of gray on top and black on the bottom, which is what the 84 is. Wow, we got 5 people here already. That's awesome. And I don't think I'm charging here. Let me see if I can fix this. Now, hopefully we are. I can't tell if my charger's working or not. If it isn't, though, this may be a short live stream because I was already about 50% battery life, but we'll make do. 4 people here so far. Let me see. You guys can start pouring your questions in. The reason I call this it finally feels like spring is this is the first day it's actually felt like spring. As a matter of fact, looking at my car right now, it says it is 76 degrees Fahrenheit out, which is absolutely beautiful. I have my windows open on both sides of the van. A nice cross breeze coming in from, actually the wind's coming in from the east and going to the west today, so it's actually going this way, and it just feels so good. Yep, I do have my hair cut ready for the spring too. That was very important. I had my hair long about 3 weeks ago, and I knew that was never going to work. Not when it's getting this warm out. Hopefully it stays this warm out. We got 4 people here, and I see Max O'Neill has commented. How am I doing? I'm doing great, especially now that spring has finally decided to rear its beautiful head. I was going to say ugly head, but it's not. I mean, it is just so gorgeous out right now. Not a cloud in the sky. I think the next few days we're supposed to get a little bit of rain. I mean, nothing too crazy, but, you know, we got to get out when we can. If you guys looked at my Facebook post, I am down to 266 pounds. I say 265 because that was measured with my clothes on. Now today I'm not going to be posting up much in the way of walking through the pedometer app because we actually did a combination of walking and bike riding, and I actually forgot to take my cell phone with me when we went walking, so it's going to be kind of a combination. But you know what, you gotta, what's a good word for it? You gotta kind of mix it up a little bit. Your body can get used to one type of exercise. That's why if I can bike ride one day, walk another day, that's even better because your body's going to acclimate better to the 2 different types of exercise. You're actually going to wind up losing more weight in the long run. Stephen Barber asked, how did I like the new Roseanne series? You guys probably all know I watched that last night. I liked it. Hang on a sec. Let me make sure this is connected. There we go. It was basically a 1-hour special, but it was actually 2 different episodes. And I'm not going to give any spoilers away. I think they did a good job trying to keep true to the original series. I think that the way they described Dan's death was a little bit cutesy, if is the best way to describe it. In the original series, Roseanne had commented that the last season was, she wrote it when they won the lottery, and Dan had actually died of his heart attack the year before. Really the way he described it in the new series is the first scene they wake up in bed, and Dan's next to her, and Roseanne wakes up first, then wakes Dan up, and he's got this little sleep apnea mask on, and she goes, I thought you were dead. So he pulls the mask off and goes, why does everybody always think I'm dead? And that's basically how they described it. So they could have did a better job. They probably could have figured out a better way to do it. Like they could have said something like, well, Roseanne just made up the fact that that he died, period. But they just kind of wanted to play around with that, and that's fine. I think the original Becky, Lacey Goranson, she looks phenomenal for being in her early 40s now. I was very surprised. I think she actually looks better than Sarah Gilbert. And you know, she's actually a little bit younger by a few years. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm just really impressed so far. I know some people didn't like it. Some people said that, you know, they went too much with the politics. But you know what? That's what Roseanne was about originally, breaking down the barriers and pushing the limits of television. And they're doing that again, talking about the politics. And I think it was very interesting, the fact that the entire family voted for Trump pretty much except for Jackie, and how there was a lot of friction there. So I give them kudos. I think they're doing a very good job. See, we got some more questions here. Michael Dufour. I remember when I watched Unsealed Maxell HGX Gold from the 80s. I guess you're referring to those VHS tapes that I had. Yeah, I still have a few of those lying around. What I do is whenever I sell a VCR, I include a few of those in the sale because they actually make the VCR sell very, very quickly. People actually will buy the VCR to get those blank tapes, and the other way around too. But yeah, I still have a few of those lying around somewhere in my closet. They're buried pretty deep though. I'd have to search a while to actually find them. Yeah. Jonathan Dominique wrote, wow, first stream I've been able to tune in for in a while. Yeah, that's all right. Like I said, I realize everybody leads busy lives. My life has been so hectic lately that if you can't make one of them, chances are you're going to make another. Because I've been trying to do these at least once a week. I think I've done pretty close to that. I think I may have skipped a week last week, but I do the best I can, and you guys really seem to enjoy these, so I'm just going to continue doing it. Got 7 watchers and 1 like. Come on, click those like buttons. You know that helps me out, and I like that. I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the Hearst Olds that Dad bought. I'm going to show that more in depth in a later video. It's a 1983 Hearst Olds. It's got the same engine as the other one. I believe it's the 305 V8. This one actually has vinyl seats instead of cloth seats, so there are a few differences there. It has manual crank windows, whereas the 84 has the power windows. But oddly enough, the 83 has cruise control and the 84 does not. What I thought was so cool, this 83 actually has the original AC Delco radio, AM/FM cassette, and the cassette actually works. I was playing on the way home. It seems like it's running a little bit slow. Could be a bad belt, but I think it's probably just down to not being used. So whenever we have it out, like for a show or just for a drive, I'm going to go ahead and run a cassette in there and see if it speeds back up. I may take it out later on and try to adjust the speed, but the dash is in such pristine condition. The knobs are all still there. The little adjustments for the treble and the balance and fade are still intact. I really just don't want to play around with it, so I think I'm probably just going to leave that alone. A few things that need to be done with it. The AC does not work, probably down to Freon, not enough Freon, or the Freon's totally leaked out, but the compressor's not seized up or anything. It spins freely, so we're thinking it probably just needs Freon. There is a slight exhaust leak. It sounds like it's coming from the manifold. We're going to look into that in about a week or so. And a few trim pieces need to be repaired. The little trim piece that's on the driver's side section of the I can't think of, what do you call those things, the spoiler is loose, so we're gonna have to glue that back in place. Just a bunch of little things, but the paint job is absolutely beautiful. The vlog didn't do it justice because it had been sitting outside and it had gotten a lot of pollen on it, but the paint job's beautiful. The interior is in excellent condition. A couple little cracks on the dashboard, the top of the dash, but that's okay. We're going to get a little dashboard mat for it. Headliner's in excellent shape. The seats are good. The seats are almost in mint condition. So it's going to be a really nice car. And I drove this thing home from Newport News to our house, which is about a good 30-minute drive. I had to go through the Modern Merrimack Memorial Bridge Tunnel, and it did phenomenally. If you drove it, I would have swore I was driving a new car. It drove that nicely. Transmission shifts really well. No no spurts or sputters or shimmies or slippage, whatever term you can come up with. The transmission's perfect. When we first started, I heard like a little ticking in the engine, and I was a little concerned about that. When I told Dad about it, because he couldn't hear it, but I could, he said, let it run for a few minutes, because the guy had actually flooded it when it started. He pumped the pedal too much, and sure enough, after a few minutes, that ticking went away. So I think it was just because the engine was flooded, but what a great car. We're going to have some real fun with those. So the idea is, now that we have an 83 Hurst-Olds and an 84 Hurst-Olds, we're going to keep them both, and we're going to take them both to shows. I'll drive either the 83 or the 84, and Dad will drive one. We'll basically impress people by the fact that we have both years of the Hurst-Olds, which are extremely rare to get a hold of now. So that's just totally awesome. Okay, I'm going to switch topics because I'm losing some of you there. I think quite a few are getting bored with this. Let's see what we got. Stephen Barber. I ordered my childhood HP Pavillion. Mine was a 720N. I had a few of the A720N. Sorry, I had a couple of those in the past. I still have its motherboard. I might throw my board in the case and reload the system after I have it all and the software had on it. Yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Be like a nostalgic system for you. They were pretty good systems, the A series. They did suffer from some capacitor issues later on, but hey, if you get a good board, then go for it. Does the cruise control on the 83 actually work? I used to have a 86 Buick Century and the cruise control didn't work. This was a question by Jonathan Dominique. I don't know. You know something funny about that? I didn't even notice. I was so preoccupied with getting the car home, making sure there weren't any problems. I didn't actually notice that it had cruise control until I got off the highway and started turning to my neighborhood. And on those older cars, you have to be going at least 35 miles an hour to try the cruise control, or it won't engage. So I'm not sure. We'll have to try that next time. I kind of have my doubts. I don't think it's going to work. Probably he's got a blown fuse or something. The cruise controls on the older GM cars, like pre-1990, were very unreliable. If it wasn't a fuse blowing, the module itself was going out, so I have my doubts. Larchmont Breeze. Here's my favorite guy, such a sweetie. K from London, UK, X thumbs up. Thank you very much. I love seeing new people here. That is just so totally awesome. Got 5 watchers and 3 likes, so I think a lot of you guys will probably be watching this in post-production. Let's see what else I wanted to tell you guys. Oh, I did wind up getting another computer haul from a local gentleman who sources these from a... he basically said he gets them from auctions. I didn't want to pry too much. There are mostly actually they're all Dell Optiplexes. I got 5 Dell Optiplex 780s, 5 760s, 4 745s, 4 755s, 2 745s, and then a GX 620. So I'm going to be busy refurbishing those. Just ordered some hard drives on eBay for those, and it's another thing I wanted to touch on because I've had a lot of people asking me about hard drives, how I get my hard drives when I refurbish these computers. Mainly I buy them on eBay. If I can source them locally, that's even better because I can actually go and physically see them, make sure there's no damage. But you have to be very careful with hard drives. I have been burned many, many times buying used hard drives. I like eBay because you do have the eBay buyer protection on there. Whenever you're looking on eBay for buying used hard drives, I always recommend a couple of things. One, look at the seller's feedback. And specifically go into that feedback and make sure that if they've sold hard drives in the past, that the people that bought them gave them good feedback for that. Because believe it or not, I've had sellers that had maybe like 98, 99% good feedback. And when I went back into their feedback, sure enough, the few bad feedbacks were for people that bought hard drives and said that they didn't thoroughly test them. Because believe it or not, a lot of these sellers on eBay, even the real reputable ones that sell computer parts on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis, will say that they tested the hard drives. Usually they'll do something like use hard drive Sentinel, Crystal Disk Info, and they'll say they've tested them, but when I get them, I can almost guarantee you I'll get one or two that fail for one or of a couple reasons. Usually it's down to a few bad sectors, but just be very careful when you're buying used hard drives on eBay, because you can get burned. And even though the eBay buyer protection does protect you, bear in mind that takes a long time to get your money back. You could take up to, you know, 1 to 2 months, and at that point you're out however much you paid for those hard drives. So just be cautious. Stephen Barber, oh boy, Dell heaven. If I saw all of them, I wouldn't want to leave. LOL. I mainly like HPs, but my favorite is Dell. Well, you know what? It depends. These are all Optiplex, so these are business class systems. I like pretty much all business class systems. Dell, HP, even some of the Acer business class systems are okay, and the reason I like them is they use the best parts. A consumer grade tower, laptop, what have you, is designed to last 3, 4, maybe 5 years. Whereas a business class system, I've seen them last 5, 10, 15, even 20 years. And I'm even going to add the Dell XPS line into that, because I have my Dell XPS 8700, which is actually going on 4 years old. This April, I'm going to have had that thing for 4 years. I've done upgrades to it, but that computer has been die-hard reliable. 9 watchers, 3 likes. Come on, click that like button for me. You know I like that. Help me out a little bit here, guys. Sam Hodgson, the other day I found a Toshiba DVD VCR Combo in the dumpster, and it works well. I'm impressed with its upscaling ability, but I am not sure how reliable Toshiba DVD and VCR players are generally. Very reliable in my experience. I actually have a Toshiba branded DVD recorder. I've had some Toshiba DVD VCR combos in the past, and they've all done very well. I actually have used them for playing DVDs, CDs, you know, the VHS portion. I will say this. Make sure that you clean your VHS heads maybe every 6 to 8 months. What I do is I usually just take it apart. I take some 91, 92% isopropyl alcohol with a Q-tip, and I go around and physically clean the heads a few times. Make sure you do the video head and the audio head as well. And if you don't know how to do that, you can look at the tutorials online, and they'll show you how to do that. But as long as you do that, keep it dust-free, maybe take it apart, blow it out on a bi-yearly basis, then those will last you for a long time. Stephen Barber, has it been 4 years already? I remember when you got the Dell XPS system. I like all Dells. They are road tough, LOL. I like the HP Pavillion systems over the Envy systems. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of the HP Envies. I've even seen Pavillion Envies. My media center system is actually a Pavillion Envy Beats Audio, and I haven't really had too many problems with it, though. I still have to say the Dells are a lot more reliable. I've had HPs in the past. The motherboards fail, specifically the HP Pavillion 6000 series with those Pendragon motherboards. I think that's how you pronounce it, something like that. But I just got a bad taste in my mouth with those. One time I bought 3 of those from the Goodwill Distribution Center. They were AMD Phenom quad-core systems, and every single one of them had a bad motherboard. So, you know, to each his own. I know if Tyler Johnson was here, he'd be saying, hey, Matt, stop buying those Seagate hard drives. Go to Western Digital. And, you know, I'm more inclined to agree with him now, because I've had some issues with Seagate hard drives recently. But you know what? The best answer to do is you got to use what works for you. If you like a specific brand and it's done well for you in the past, continue to use it. It's the best thing I could tell you. 10 watchers and 4 likes. Let's see if we got any more questions here. No more questions yet. That's all right. I don't know how much longer I can do this anyway. My voice is ready to give out. I'm not sick or anything. I've just been talking a lot today, and I really didn't drink enough water. That's one thing I've noticed since I started this lifestyle change, and my blood sugar is normalized. I don't drink nearly as much water as I used to. I just don't have the want to drink, and I kind of have to force myself. At night, what I do is I take a gallon jug of water, I stick it next to my bed, and I just force myself to drink basically up until I go to sleep, because you want to stay hydrated overnight, especially overnight, because if you go to bed dehydrated, you're going to wake up literally feeling like you're hungover. And there are a few nights where I know I forgot to put the water in my room, and I know I got dehydrated in the morning. My muscles were aching so bad I could barely get out of bed. Stephen Barber, I have a question. Maybe you know the answer. I've been using Norton's for a long time. Still do I hear people complaining that back then it was slow? I take it was Norton 360. I do not like Norton AntiVirus at all. I don't like the regular one, Norton 360, Norton Complete, whatever. I've tried them all in the past, and I don't think they protect as well as some of the free ones. Avast, AVG, Panda, all these to me give better protection. And this is from a lifetime's experience of working on customers' computers, doing virus removals, data backups. Generally, the computers I find that are the most virus ridden are running either Norton or McAfee. And you know, again, it's going to depend on the websites that you visit. But in general, I think Norton is overpriced, and it really doesn't work as good as a lot of people think. If you wanted the absolute best protection out there, like rock solid, like Fort Knox protection, Kaspersky is without a doubt your best bet. But Kaspersky will slow your computer down. I've actually recommended that to several people. And it just depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you have a lot of sensitive data on your computer, if you're using your computer to run a business, then yeah, you may want to go with something like Kaspersky. But for the general public that uses their computer for personal use, like for me, I find Avast works just fine. Jonathan wrote, since you mentioned the Goodwill Distribution Center, I was reminded of the ThinkPad T440p that I got for $40 from there. Computer works great, and we'll be getting a wide gamma 1080p display tomorrow. That is really cool. If you are so inclined, I would really like to see a video of you putting that in there. I've done laptop screen replacements in the past. I don't like doing them. But, you know, it's something I'd like to see. I want to learn a little bit more about that if I could. Sorry about that. I was just answering a text real quick. But, yeah, I mean, you can get good computers there. For those of you that don't know and haven't heard me talk about this, near where I live is a place called the Goodwill Distribution Center. Basically, that's where they have 3 different areas. They have an area that has the, like, bulk buying, where you can go in and you fill up a cart with clothes and you pay by the pound. They have a regular area in there that sells you know, bric-a-brac, electronics, just like a regular Goodwill. And then right as you're going into the left, they have the computer center where they sell refurbished computers, kind of like what I do. But they also have an area right as you're walking into the left where they sell computers that they deem unrepairable for one reason or another. It could be something as simple as one of the USB ports is bad, or maybe it's got a bad processor. But generally I find those computers are a little bit, there's something a little bit more serious wrong with them, like a bad motherboard, or, you know, it could be a bunch of bad ports on the motherboard. Usually it has something to do with the motherboard. Now, if you see older computers there, generally they're okay, but they just don't want to spend the time refurbishing them, so they might put them over there as well. But if you're in that section and you see like a Core i5, a Core i3, a Core i7 system, stay away from it, because chances are it's not worth repairing, and they still ask a lot for them. Last time I was there, they wanted, They had a Core i5 Dell Optiplex system there. I think it was like a 3010 or a 3020. They wanted $50 for it, and it was red tagged, which means there was probably something seriously wrong with it. So I would, there's the old saying, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And at the Goodwill Distribution Center, that's usually what it is. Arizona Sparkles, hello there. What a fun vlog. I noticed I'm the only girl here. Yikes, I love your videos. Just subscribe. I love the ones where your parents and pets are in it. XXUK. Well, thank you very much. I love hearing from new subscribers. Man, I get a lot of people from the UK. That's totally awesome. As I stated before, I'm a little bit of an Anglophile myself. I love watching British TV. I would love to visit the UK sometime, you know, if my finances would provide that. It would be awesome. I've always wanted to visit London and even drive up up the coast, and oh, it's just gorgeous out there. Really, really is. Jonathan wrote, I noticed it's hit or miss with Goodwill and computers. The T440P that I got just had a faulty display and a keyboard with a missing K. I've seen others that looked like a biohazard, though. Yeah, there was a time I went there where they had a bunch of old MacBooks, 2006 era MacBooks, probably. I looked them up. They were Core 2 Duo, 2 gigahertz Core 2 Duos, and they were disgusting. I opened them up. I think they told me that they came from a school. Everyone looked like a kid had spilt soda on them. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I would absolutely stay away from most systems there. I've seen a few laptops in the past that were good. A buddy of mine, Ron, got a 2007 era MacBook Pro there. I think he said he paid like $50 for it. He wound up having to put in a new keyboard and a hard drive, and the thing worked, and it still works to this day as far as I know. I bet you did see those Macs. They were there for a while. Nobody wanted them. Yeah, that's the thing. If the computers are too old and they're not in good shape, they're just going to sit there for a long time. I'll give you another idea, and this is what really bothers me with Macs. People think that their Macs are worth their weight in gold. I'm not going to specify any names, but about a year ago, I had a chance to buy some Mac Pros, Towers. And the person that was selling to me really hyped these things up. They said, oh yeah, these things are maxed out. They're cherry. They're like brand new. We hardly used them. And I said, okay, well, he said he had a bunch of them. Like, can I please get an inventory list? And I never got that list. After multiple emails and multiple discussions, I just never got the list. So I had a bad taste in my mouth where I said, okay, he's not giving me an inventory list. Every time I ask for specifics, in other words, specifications about these computers, he avoids it and just says, oh, you're going to love them. They're sweet. They're cherry. And I said to myself, okay, something's wrong. And finally the day came to where he showed me one of them, and he said they were all the same. And it turned out they were circa 2009 Mac Pros. They were nothing special. They were the dual core. I'm trying to remember what they were. They were Xeons, but they were the dual core Xeons. They were the real low end ones. They each had 4 gigs of RAM and only had one 640 gigabyte hard drive. And the video cards weren't anything special either. They were Ati Radeon HD 4200s, which nowadays are really antiquated. And I looked them up online. I was still interested when I first saw him because he said he had 5 of them, and I thought I could get a really good deal. I asked him what he wanted for them, and he's like, well, I talked to my buddy at the Apple store, and he said, don't take any less than $1,000 a piece for him. And then I said, then I said to myself, oh, this is not going to work. So I did some research on my phone real quick and realized that the most I could realize out of a computer like that would be $500 or $600, and that's if I did the upgrades. I would have upgraded the video card, I'd have put more memory in it, upgraded the hard drive, and maybe even have had to have changed out the CPU. So at that point, I realized I could only offer them about $300 a piece, and that's what I said. Look, I'll give you $300 a piece for these. You got 5 of them, so it'd be $1,500. I thought I could make some money on it, and no surprise there. He said no. He said the lowest he could go would be $800 a piece, and he'd be giving away at that price. And we just parted ways. So that's just one thing that drives me crazy. And I understand Macs do bring a premium, but at the time these systems were 9 years old and they needed to be upgraded. So that's, if you have a chance to buy computers at a good price, buy them, but don't ever let people take advantage of you, because I have in the past, and I've bought computers and paid too much for them, and I wound up losing my shirt over the deal. Sam Hodgson, I'd love to visit the U.S. sometime and visit thrift stores to see the difference compared to the ones here in the U.K. That would be great. If you ever visit Virginia, you have a place to stay here. I would love to visit, see some of you guys come over here. In reality, you'll probably be able to come over here quicker than I'll be able to go over there. I haven't even gotten my passport yet, which I do need to do, because this summer we're planning on visiting some family up in Canada, and you do need a passport to get into Canada now, believe it or not. Ruben's here. Hello, Ruben. Ruben, hey Matt, can you please use one of the Optiplexes as a media center PC? Probably not, and the reason I would say not is they're not really suited for that task, mainly because of the processors. They all have Core 2 Duos. I'd have to upgrade them to at least a Core 2 Quad, I would say, and even then, you know, these are older systems, and the memory form is expensive. You know, the DDR2 is getting expensive. Probably not these, but in the future, who knows? I might hold on to one and have another project for them. I was thinking about maybe turning one of these into a Linux box, maybe running Ubuntu or Lubuntu or even Linux Mint. I actually don't have any of the Core i series Optiplexes left. I sold out of those a while ago. The only ones I have now, for those, I'm going to say this for Ruben's benefit, are the Dell Optiplex 780s, 760s, 755s, and 745s, which all take the Core 2 series, whether it's a Core 2 Duo or a Core 2 Quad. It's an interesting thought, though. I may try to go on eBay and upgrade some of these to Core 2 Quads. I've noticed on eBay you can get the Core 2 Quads, specifically the Q6600s, the 6800s, and the Q8400s, really cheap now. I'm talking maybe $7 or $8 a piece, so it's a very good possibility. But I'll be honest with you, I've had really good luck selling them with just the Core 2 Duos. A lot of people, a lot of my clients, and all the people that that see my computers listed know how good these Optiplex series Dells are, and they usually fly off the shelf, no pun intended. They are. The Core 2 Quads are getting very cheap nowadays. John Mosley's here. Hey, John. Glad you made it. Well, I'm glad you did. We're up to 14 watchers and 7 likes. Come on, click that like button if you like it. You know, we should talk a little bit more about the weather here. It has just started getting really cold all of a sudden. The sun went down, and there are actually clouds coming in right now. Let's see what the temperature has gotten up to or down to. Still says it's 76 degrees, but I am pretty sure it's going to go down quickly now that the sun's going down. Ruben wrote, where is Mark Covington? Yeah, that's a good question. But I'm going to give him a pass, because I did get a message from him the other day, and he said he's been very busy with his normal job. That's why he hasn't had a chance to comment or view a lot of my videos recently. And that's fine, Mark. If you see this later, I totally understand that. Greetings from Western Maine. Wow, that is Bog Donkey. I love that name. Maine. Oh, I haven't been to Maine in years. When I was very young, we went to a train museum there, believe it or not. And it's been years since I've been to Maine. I really enjoyed it, though. My kind of weather, too. I had to plug in the cigarette adapter for my phone. For some reason, the top one's not working very well at the moment. Hopefully my phone's got a decent battery charge still. If I get cut off, you guys will know why. Let's see what else we got going on. 50 degrees in Maine. That's more my kind of weather usually, but as I've lost weight, I realize I can tolerate the heat a little bit more. So, you know what? I'm okay with this 70, 80 degree weather, and that's what I'm hoping. By summertime, I want to be able to go down to the beach in a bathing suit without a shirt and not feel like I'm disgusting people. And I'm actually almost to that point now. Maybe if I lost another 5 or 6 pounds, I would feel even better about it. But I do have the dreaded excess skin at this point. I knew that was going to be an inevitability because of the weight that I came down from. And I am still seriously considering getting skin removal surgery when I get down to my ideal weight. It's something that I know I'm going to have, and I am definitely going to start up a GoFundMe page. So I'll keep you guys informed on that, on how you can actually donate, because the surgery is going to be about $4,000 or $5,000, and unfortunately, I don't have that kind of money. So if you guys can donate, that's absolutely fine. You know what? I'm not going to sit here and beg for money. I don't want to do that. I don't want that to be this kind of channel. But if in your heart you feel like you want to donate a couple of dollars once I start it up, that would be much appreciated. Larchmont Breeze, when are you taking us shopping for bargains? I don't know. Maybe in the near future. I've done a lot of thrift store related videos recently. Being this is a variety channel, I'm trying to kind of switch it up a little bit. A few more weeks. I think we'll be able to get some more thrift store vlogs in, and I'm definitely going to start with garage sale find videos. I really miss doing that, and the reason I'm not doing it is there just aren't any garage sales around right now. So hopefully that'll start up within the next month or so. Until then, I've been spending my nights listening to a lot of music recently. I enjoy music. You guys probably know that by now. And incidentally, that phonograph, the Pioneer SL Series belt drive that I bought at this thrift store a few months ago, has been doing really well. I did wind up having to adjust the speed on that because it's a belt drive. Generally, they lose their speed adjustments on a semi-regular basis, but ever since I spent the time to adjust that, it's been working flawlessly, and I'm going to have to show that in another video because I've been very impressed with that turntable, especially for it being a belt drive. I've never been a big fan of belt drive turntables. Jonathan Dominique wrote, according to the thermometer that I have on my desk, it's currently 65.4. right outside of my house. When I was at work earlier, the temperature had gotten as high as 80 degrees outside of Fort Eustis. Wow. I didn't see 80 degrees back then, but bear in mind, I was over more towards Newport News as you're heading towards Yorktown. And I know it tends to be a little bit cooler there because you're getting away from the water. My car still says it's 76 degrees. I'm wondering if my thermostat doesn't reset itself until I start the engine. Let me see if it, let me run the car for a minute and see if it changes. 10 watchers, 10 likes. Awesome. I like that. That actually helps with my obsessive compulsive. I like even numbers there. Did I get a new acquisition today? No, my dad did. He got the 83 Hurst Olds. I didn't even get a chance to go to the thrift stores. I was hoping to go to over to the thrift stores in Hampton, but that never happened today, unfortunately. Can you turn on the HVAC from the van? Are you referring to the rear HVAC in this? Yeah, there's a switch in front here that actually controls it, but I actually have controls here for it too, so the person in the back can control it as well. Larchmont Breeze, what sort of music do you like? Wow, it would be easier to tell you the music, sort of music that I don't like. But my favorite types of music are folk and jazz. Specifically, I like Joni Mitchell. You know, I like Sade, which is kind of like a smooth jazz or an R&B. Other groups, I like Christian music too. I like Take Six, Newsboys, Petra. I like a lot of old school stuff. About the only kind of music I don't like is modern rap and most country. I'm sorry, those of you guys out there that like country music, it's usually just not my cup of tea. But I do like old school rap. I've said this before. I like Technotronic. I like Vanilla Ice, of course. I know, right? Vanilla Ice. And MC Hammer. There are a few other ones. I just can't think of them off the top of my head right now. I do like to listen to old school rock on occasion, though. I like the Little River Band. I like Elton John. I was just recently getting into some of the older, like hard rock, what you would call it, the Who, the Rolling Stones. But yeah, I'm eclectic. I like all kinds of music. I even like, we're talking about really old school music. I've been listening to some Al Jolson and Glenn Miller. So we're talking 20s, 30s, and 40s. Swing, big band. So I hope you're getting the gist at this point that I like most kinds of music. I am a very emotional, very passionate person, and music, most music hits my soul. So if I'm not listening to music, I'm not really a happy person. I have to listen to music on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, I listen to music all night long when I'm sleeping. No joke. No joke. Ooh, somebody's car alarm is going off. Havoc's son. I have old Zenith Circle of Sound record player. That old record player still sounds great. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's definitely old school. I'd love to see a video of that one day. I have some older turntables, too. As a matter of fact, my oldest one is a RCA Victor crank turntable from the 20s, and that actually still works, believe it or not. I haven't had it out in years. It only plays 78s, and it actually uses real needles. It's like a miniature version of what you would consider a Victrola. Excuse me. Great record player. Just making sure my charger's still working at this point. Ruben goes, avoid those Victrola turntables. No, I'm referring to the original Victrolas from the early 1900s, not the modern garbage that that shall remain nameless on my channel. Larchmont Breeze, love it. LOL, these live chats are fun. Ain't YouTube something? A bunch of strangers shooting the breeze. It amazes me all the time that I can do this. When I started this channel back in 2011, I never thought it would get up to this point, and I really feel blessed. I love being able to interact with my subscribers. I do tend to be kind of shy, and I do get tongue-tied at times, but this is just an amazing platform, and I'm hoping it just grows from here. You know, they're doing some things at YouTube headquarters that I question, that I don't necessarily agree with, like not being able to monetize the smaller channels. That doesn't affect me, fortunately, but as a whole, yeah, YouTube is just awesome. Alright, tubers, I am going to go ahead and end this live stream because my voice is really crackling at this point. We got this about 45 minutes in. I think we had about 15 watchers at the most here, but so that's not too bad. Again, next time I'll try to get you guys a little bit more of a head start, a little more notice for this live stream. I will answer another couple of questions real quick if you have them. Bix Benderbeck, great jazz cornet. I have to listen to him. I've never heard him before. Stephen Barber says, have a good night and safe night. I will. I always try to. Larchmont Breeze, well, I'm certainly telling my friends about you. Stay blessed, Matt. Thank you very much. That is the end of this live stream. Thank you guys for coming. Please continue to like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.